Good morning or good afternoon, football fans, wherever you may be. Big Al here on this Wednesday. It's Hump Day, not October 18th, it's November 18th, 2020. And today we're going to take a look at individual leaders in the NFL through week 10. Plus, we will update the playoff picture in both conferences. So we'll look at the playoff pictures in both the AFC and NFC a little bit later. But first, let's jump right into the individual league leaders after 10 weeks of play. Starting off with your passing yards leaders. Number 5 is Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs with 2,687 yards. Number 4 is Tom Brady from the Buccaneers at 2,739. At number 3 is Matt Ryan from the Falcons, 2,746. Number 2 is Russell Wilson of the Seahawks with 2,789. And your league leader in passing yards is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills at 2,871 yards. Completion percentage leaders, here's your top 5 through week 10. Derek Carr of the Raiders at 69.3% takes home 5th. Russell Wilson from the Seahawks is 4th at 69.8%. Number 3 is Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Dolphins at 70.1%. Number 2 is Teddy Bridgewater of the Carolina Panthers at 72.1%. And number 1 in completion percentage through week 10 is Drew Brees of the Saints at 73.5%. But it looks like he'll be missing at least the next 2 to 3 weeks with those injured ribs. Alright, your touchdown pass leaders through week 10. Number 5 is Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers with 22. Tom Brady of the Buccaneers and his 23 touchdown passes puts him at number 4. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is 3rd with 25 TD passes. Number 2 is Aaron Rodgers from the Packers with 26. And your league leader is Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks at 28. He did not throw a touchdown pass last week against the Rams, but he still leads the league in touchdown passes with 28. All right, quarterback rating leaders through week 10. 5th is Derek Carr of the Raiders at 107.4, followed by Drew Brees of the Saints at 110. He's 4th. Number 3 is Russell Wilson of the Seahawks, 110.5. Second, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, 115.9. And your league leader in quarterback rating through 10 weeks is Aaron Rodgers of the Packers at 116.4. As far as interceptions thrown, these are the top, or should I say the bottom 5. Because interceptions, if you're a quarterback, they're bad. Number 5 is Daniel Jones of the Giants with 9 interceptions. Russell Wilson of the Seahawks and Drew Lock of the Broncos are tied for 3rd, both with 10 interceptions. Number 2 is Kirk Cousins of the Vikings with 11. And number 1 still, even though he didn't throw a pick Sunday against the Giants, is Carson Wentz of the Eagles with 12 interceptions. All right, let's look at the rushing leaders, starting with rushing yards leaders through week 10. Number 5 is James Robinson of the Jaguars, now at 689 after he posted 192 in the near upset of the Packers. Number 4 is Josh Jacobs of the Raiders with an even 700. At number 3 is Ronald Jones II from the Bucks with 730. And then it's a close race with our top 2. Derrick Henry of the Titans is 2nd at 946. And Dalvin Cook still leads the league in rushing yards with 954 for the Minnesota Vikings. Rushing touchdown leaders through week 10. We've got a tie for 5th with Derrick Henry of the Titans and Josh Jacobs of the Raiders, both with 8 touchdown rushes, or 8 rushing touchdowns. I know what I'm trying to say. We also have a tie for 3rd with Cam Newton of the Patriots and Todd Gurley of the Falcons, both with 9 touchdown runs. Number 2 is Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals with 10. And your league leader in rushing touchdowns is Dalvin Cook of the Vikings with 12. Rush yards per attempt, here are your leaders through week 10. We have a technical 3-way tie for 5th with Damian Harris of the Patriots, Dalvin Cook of the Vikings, and Phillip Lindsay of the Broncos, all at 5.5 yards per rush attempt. Number 4 is Lamar Jackson of the Ravens at 5.8. Number 3 is Miles Sanders of the Eagles at an even 6 yards per rush attempt. Second is Nick Chubb of the Browns, 6.1 yards per rush attempt. And your league leader is Kyler Murray of the Cardinals, 6.9 yards per rush attempt. All right, receptions leaders through 10 weeks. Number 5 is Robbie Anderson of the Panthers with 64. At number 4 is Keenan Allen of the LA Chargers with 65 receptions. DeAndre Hopkins of the Cardinals and Alvin Kamara from the Saints are tied for 2nd, both with 67 receptions. And your league leader is Stephon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills with 73 receptions. Receiving yards leaders through week 10. Stephon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills is number 1 at 906. I should have started at number 5, but oh well. Second is DeAndre Hopkins of the Cardinals with 861. Third is DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, 816. Number 4 is Scary Terry McLaurin of the Washington Football Team with 787 yards. And rounding out the top 5 is Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers at 772. All right. Here are your league leaders in touchdown receptions after 10 weeks. Number 5 is, in fact, we have a tie for 4th with both Mike Evans of the Buccaneers and DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, both with 8 touchdown receptions. And then you have a 3-way tie for the league lead. Adam Thielen of the Vikings, Devontae Adams of the Packers, and Tyreek Hill of the Chiefs all have 9 touchdown receptions. And then your yards per reception leaders through week 10, number 4 in a tie are Justin Jefferson of the Vikings and DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, both at 18.1 yards per reception. Number 3 is DJ Moore of the Panthers at 18.9. Number 2, Nelson Aguilar of the Las Vegas Raiders at 19.7. And your league leader in yards per reception is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, or MVS, of the Green Bay Packers, averaging an even 21 yards per reception. All right, turning our attention now to the defense. Your tackles leaders through week 10. Zach Cunningham of the Texans is 5th with 57. Number 4 is Budda Baker of the Arizona Cardinals with 58. Third is Jordan Poyer from the Buffalo Bills with 60 tackles. Number 2 is Eric Kendricks of the Minnesota Vikings with 61. And your league leader in tackles is Roquan Smith of the Chicago Bears with 70 tackles. All right, now to your sacks leaders through Week 10. Zadarius Smith from the Green Bay Packers and Emmanuel Ogbah of the Miami Dolphins are tied for 4th, both with 8 sacks. Tied for 2nd are TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams, each with 9 sacks. And your league leader is Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns with 9.5 sacks. Interceptions leaders through 10 weeks. Tied for 3rd, you have Kendall Fuller of the Washington Football Team, Darius Williams of the LA Rams, and Carlton Davis III of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all with 4 interceptions. Number 2 is Xavier Howard of the Miami Dolphins with 5, and your league leader is J.C. Jackson of the New England Patriots with 6 interceptions. Turning things over now to special teams. Your league leaders in made field goals through Week 10. We've got ourselves a 4-way tie for 3rd. Jason Sanders of the Dolphins, Daniel Carson of the Raiders, Ryan Suckup of the Bucks, and Joey Sly of the Panthers are all tied for 3rd with 20 field goals made. And you have a 2-way tie for the league as both Graham Gano of the New York Giants and Younghoe Koo of the Atlanta Falcons each made 21 field goals. Field goal percentage leaders through Week 10. Tied for 4th are the aforementioned Graham Gano of the Giants and Younghoe Koo of the Falcons, both at 95.5%. And you got a 3-way tie for the league lead with Mason Crosby of the Green Bay Packers, Chris Boswell of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jason Myers of the Seattle Seahawks, all at 100%. All right. Punts leaders through Week 10. These are the punters that have punted the most. Tied for 4th are Tress Way of the Washington Football Team and Kevin Huber of the Cincinnati Bengals at 38 punts. And ironically, those 2 teams will be playing each other this week. Number 3 is Cameron Johnston of the Philadelphia Eagles with 39. Second is Braden Mann of the New York Jets with 46 punts. And your league leader is Pat O'Donnell of the Chicago Bears with 48 punts. Average yards per punt leaders through Week 10 are Brian Anger of the Houston Texans coming in at number 5 with an average of 48.3 yards per punt. In 4th is Corey Bojorquez of the Buffalo Bills, 49.1. 3rd is Cameron Johnston of the Eagles, averaging 50 yards a punt. Number 2 is Michael Dixon of the Seahawks, 50.3 yards per punt. And your league leader is Jack Fox from the Detroit Lions at 52.2 yards per punt. And finally, punts inside the 20-yard line. Here are your top 5 through Week 10. Matt Hack of the Miami Dolphins is 5th on this list with 17 punts inside the 20-yard line. Followed by Seattle's Michael Dixon at 18. Chicago's Pat O'Donnell with 20. And you have a tie for the league with Johnny Hecker of the LA Rams and Riley Dixon of the New York Giants, both with 21 punts inside the 20-yard line. So those are your individual stats leaders through week 10. Now let's take a look at the playoff pictures in both conferences as we go into week number 11, starting off with the AFC. And we'll start with the 4 division leaders. The number 1 seed as of right now and the current AFC North leaders are the Pittsburgh Steelers with a 9-0 record. They are 3-0 within their division and a perfect 6-0 in conference play. Strength of schedule percentage and strength of victory percentage for the Steelers are both 415. And this week they will play the Jaguars in Jacksonville. The 2 seed is the AFC West leaders and reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, with an 8-1 record. They are 2-1 within the division and 7-1 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 398. Strength of victory percentage is 365. They have a revenge game on Sunday night in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Your number 3 seed in the AFC as of right now is the Buffalo Bills at 7-3. They're a perfect 4-0 in division play and 5-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 533. Strength of victory is 444. They are in the bye week and they lead the AFC East. Then your 4 seed as of right now would be the Indianapolis Colts at 6-3. They are 1-1 within the division, 3-3 in conference play. Their strength of schedule percentage is 421. Strength of victory percentage is 392. This week they will be hosting the Green Bay Packers. All right, your 3 wild card spots all have matching 6-3 records. The Las Vegas Raiders are in the number 5 spot with a 6-3 overall record, 3-0 mark in the AFC West, and 4-2 in the conference all told. Their strength of schedule percentage is 560. Strength of victory percentage is 527, and this is the second highest strength of victory percentage of all AFC teams. And this week, they host the Chiefs with a chance to sweep the reigning world champs. As remember, they beat Kansas City earlier this year. In the 6th spot is the Miami Dolphins, also at 6-3. They're 1-2 against the AFC East, 3-2 in the conference as a whole. Strength of schedule percentage is 434. Strength of victory is 345. This week they travel to Denver. And in the 7th and final spot in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens, also at 6-3. They are 2-1 versus the AFC North and 4-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 531. Strength of victory percentage 407. And this week they will be hosting the Tennessee Titans. Now 8 and 9 are both have 6 wins, and both are outside of the top 7. And those are the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans. Cleveland sits at number 8 with their 6-3 record, 2-2 in the AFC North and 4-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 469. Strength of victory is 315. The Browns are playing a non-conference opponent this week as they will be hosting the Eagles. And then the 9th spot goes to the Tennessee Titans with a record of 6-3 as well. They're 2-1 in the AFC South, 4-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule is 476, and strength of victory is 393. This week, the Titans will visit Baltimore. Number 10 is the New England Patriots with a 4-5 record. They're 2-1 in the AFC East, 4-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage 554. Strength of victory is 500. They are in Houston this week. Number 11 is the Denver Broncos with a 3-6 record. 1-2 mark in the AFC West, 3-4 overall conference record. Strength of schedule percentage is 549. Strength of victory is only 222. This week they host the Miami Dolphins. Number 12 is the Cincinnati Bengals at 2-6-1. 0-4 versus the AFC North. Sorry. And 2-6 overall in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 562, and this is actually the second highest among all AFC teams. Vegas is third as far as strength of schedule percentage. Strength of victory percentage for the Bengals is 389. This week, they're out of conference playing in Washington. 13 is the LA Chargers with a record of 2-7. 0-3 in the AFC West, 2-4 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 524. And strength of victory is only 194. Third lowest of all AFC teams. This week, they're hosting the Jets. 14 is the Houston Texans, also with a 2-7 record. They have a 2-1 record against the AFC South, 2-5 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 593, and their strength of victory percentage is 111. This week, they host the New England Patriots. 15 is the Jacksonville Jaguars with a record of 1-8. They're 1-3 versus the AFC South and 1-6 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 463. And strength of victory is the highest among all AFC teams at 667. This week they host the Steelers. And number 16 and sitting in the basement of the AFC are the New York Jets, the league's lone winless team at 0-9. 0-4 versus the AFC East, 0-7 overall in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage is the highest of all AFC teams. In fact, it's the highest of all teams, period, in the NFL at 607. And strength of victory, since they haven't beaten anyone, is still 0. They visit the Chargers in Los Angeles. Now let's talk about these tiebreakers. Starting off with the AFC South, where Indianapolis owns the head-to-head tie over Tennessee after beating the Titans Thursday night. Then you've got that dogfight for the 3 wildcard spots. Vegas owns the tiebreaker over the Titans, Dolphins, and Ravens based on best win percentage in conference games. The Dolphins own the tiebreaker over both the Titans and Ravens based on best win percentage in conference games. And then the Ravens own the tiebreaker over the Titans, their next opponent, based on best win percentage in common games. The divisional tiebreaker was initially used to eliminate the Cleveland Browns, in which Baltimore owns the head-to-head tie over. And in the aforementioned Browns, they owned the tiebreaker over Tennessee based on best win percentage in common games. And then the final tiebreaker involves the Chargers and Texans. LA owns that tiebreaker over Houston based on best win percentage in conference games. So that's the AFC playoff picture. Now let's jump to the NFC playoff picture. Starting off with the 4 division leaders. Your number one seed as of right now and leaders of the NFC North are the Green Bay Packers with a 7-2 record. They are 2-1 within the NFC North and 5-2 overall in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 434. Strength of victory percentage is 391. This week they traveled to Indianapolis. Number 2 is the current NFC South leaders, the New Orleans Saints, also with a 7-2 record. They are 3-0 versus the South, 6-1 versus the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 523. Strength of victory percentage is 471. And looking at these numbers, that is the second highest strength of victory percentage in the NFC. This week they will host the Atlanta Falcons. At 3 are the Arizona Cardinals at 6-3. 2-0 versus the NFC West, 4-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 405. Strength of victory percentage 375. They play the Seahawks in Seattle tomorrow night. Then at number 4, you have your NFC East leaders, the Philadelphia Eagles, at 3-5-1. 2-2 versus the East, 3-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 446. Strength of victory percentage is 310. The Eagles will be playing an AFC opponent as they will be traveling to Cleveland to face the Browns on Sunday. And that brings us to our 3 wildcard spots. Number 5 and the top wildcard team in the NFC is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 7-3 record. They are 2-2 versus the NFC South and 4-3 against the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 489 and strength of victory is 409. They will be hosting the team that sits right below them at number 6, and that's the Los Angeles Rams with a 6-3 record. They are 1-1 versus the NFC West, 6-1 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 453. Strength of victory is 384. And again, the Rams and Bucs will play in Tampa on Monday night. In the number 7 spot and that third and final wild card spot in the NFC are the Seattle Seahawks at 6-3. 1-2 record versus the West. They are 4-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 506. Strength of victory percentage is 418. And again, they're hosting the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow night. And I'll tell you about the NFC West tiebreakers in just a moment. On the outside of the playoffs, you have your number 8 team, the Chicago Bears, at 5-5. 1-1 versus the NFC North, 5-3 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 527. Strength of victory percentage is 417. The Bears are in the bye week. At number 9 is the team that just beat the Bears on Monday night, and that's the Minnesota Vikings with a 4-5 record. 3-1 within the North and 3-3 within the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 561, and this is the second highest strength of schedule percentage in the conference. Strength of victory percentage is 486, and this week they're hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Number 10 is the Detroit Lions, also at 4-5. 0-3 versus the North, 3-4 in the conference overall. Strength of schedule percentage is an even 500. Strength of victory percentage 333. This week they traveled to Carolina to play the Panthers. Number 11, the San Francisco 49ers. These are the reigning NFC champions, in case you forgot. They're 4-6, 1-2 versus the West, and 2-5 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 533. Strength of victory percentage is 351. San Fran is in the bye this week. Number 12 is the Atlanta Falcons with a record of 3-6. They are 1 up, 1 down in the NFC South, and 2 up, 6 down in the conference overall. Strength of schedule percentage is 440. Strength of victory percentage 357. This week they traveled to New Orleans. 13 is the New York Football Giants at 3-7. And all 3 wins coming against the NFC East versus 2 losses. It also accounts for all 3 of their conference wins against 6 losses. Strength of schedule percentage 473. Strength of victory percentage is 278. The Giants are in the bye week. 14 is the Carolina Panthers with a record of 3-7. 1-4 versus the South, 2-5 overall in the conference. Strength of schedule is 581, and that's the highest strength of schedule percentage in the NFC. And right now, it would be the second highest strength of schedule percentage, third highest rather, strength of schedule percentage in the NFL, behind only the Jets and Texans. Strength of victory percentage is 407. And that would be the third highest among NFC teams not in a playoff spot. The Panthers will host the Lions this week. 15 is the Washington Football Team at 2-7. 2-2 versus the East and 2-5 versus the NFC. Strength of schedule percentage for Washington is 476, and strength of victory is 306. This week they're home against the Cincinnati Bengals. And then the 16 seed in the conference is the Dallas Cowboys at 2-7. 1-2 versus the East, and 2 up, 5 down versus the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is 543. Strength of victory percentage is 316. And this week, the Cowboys travel to Minneapolis to battle the Minnesota Vikings. All right, so there are 6 tiebreakers that we have to look at. The first involves the number 1 seed, in which the Packers and Saints are both tied at 7-2. Green Bay owns the head-to-head tiebreaker over New Orleans because they beat the Saints earlier this year. So Green Bay is number 1 despite New Orleans having the better conference record, 6-1 versus Green Bay's 5-2. Then that brings us to the AFC West, where the Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks are all tied for the division lead. Arizona owns the tiebreaker over Los Angeles based on best win percentage in division games. So Arizona is 2-0 versus the NFC West with wins over both San Francisco and Seattle, while the Rams are 1-1. They got the win over Seattle on Sunday, and they lost to San Francisco. That means the Cardinals and Rams have not played each other yet. I think their first scheduled game is week 13. Arizona also owns the head-to-head tiebreaker over Seattle thanks to that week 7 win a few weeks back. Alright, then you have a divisional tiebreaker with both the Vikings and Lions, in which Minnesota has the head-to-head tie over Detroit. These two teams are scheduled to play again in Week 17. The next tiebreaker involves the Giants and Panthers. New York owns the tiebreaker over Carolina based on best win percentage in conference games. Giants are 3-6, which gives them a .333 win percentage in the NFC, while Carolina is 2-5 with a .286 win percentage in the conference. And then the final tiebreaker is also a divisional tiebreaker involving the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys, both at the bottom of the conference. Washington holds the head-to-head tiebreaker over Dallas due to their earlier win this season, and these two teams are scheduled to play next week on Thanksgiving. So, that is a look at your individual stats leaders and the updated playoff pictures in both conferences through Week 10. Alright, I am about to go update the team statistics on both offense and defense. Then I gotta write down the Week 11 schedule and the broadcast teams for each game. I will be back tomorrow with part 1 of the Week 11 preview, as we'll take a look at the Thursday night game between the Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks, the battle for first in the NFC West. So that's coming tomorrow, so watch out for that. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell twice every time I post a new vid. Big Al signing off. Enjoy the pigskin. Holla at y'all tomorrow. Peace.